Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and one-third greater multitude. Shalom. All praises to and honor, glory, and blessings and power be unto Abanawa Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Shalom, Babakar. You know, you see the prophet on the screen is Elder Manatazak Ba. Lord willing, I said that correctly. The name, you know, one of our frontline teachers, one of our elders, that a lot of people like myself around the world, students learning, a lot of Jake that have woken up, these, from the apostles on down, once again, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And see, as we approach the end, and this is not the first time, numerous times you've got these weirdo agent provocateurs or, individuals that sometimes are sent by the so-called powers that be, right? And they're there just to cause disruption, provocation, to get our, some of our teachers, possibly in trouble or locked up with the authorities. Just trying to get them to do behavior which wouldn't be aligned with the scriptures. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, our elders were patient, and basically what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to provoke the teachers into behaving in an emotional manner. Obviously, they'll protect themselves if they have to, and that's their right to do so. But they don't. They're trying to be men, and they are men, and they behaving like men, and they're trying to be spiritual and just teach the word. As Elder kept saying, we're just here to teach the word. We're not here to debate, because these debates have been happening, right? For decades. And now, as our elders would say, now is not the time to debate, unless they want to debate, but now's not the time to debate. They just, just teaching the word, explaining it to people that are sincere, and they keep it moving until the Lord allows them to open their eyes again, the next day to teach again, right? And then you've got individuals like this, coming undercover, trying to ask, silly questions. They know the answers to those certain questions, what you guys believe, and what's your doctrine, all that kind of thing. And then afterwards, they retract what they're saying. Then they say they want to debate, and but then this guy was phrasing questions in different ways. First, he's acting like he didn't know. Then he's acting like he knew. Then he wants to debate. Ultimately, Elder Manatazak Ba, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai would have wiped the floor, in any debate with any individual, because this, you're not going against men by debating the truth. You're going against Yahweh Bashem Hashai, and your arms ain't that long where you can box with the Most High. So you got clowns like this, with his eyebrow earring, that sort of homosexual look with the eyebrow earring, which is usually a sodomite thing, and he's got the long hair as well, just trying to get a rise out of the elder. And the elder was humble, the elder was calm, the elder was forthright, the elder was, very, 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 very patient. And it goes to show that, how Bashim Shah is working with our prophets and teachers, man, because, you look at it, you get vexed looking at it, thinking, damn, man, elder is patient, but you have to be. And that's a certain kind of spirit, that's a war in itself, where you gotta calm your spirit down, thinking that, because you got people out there that are just so evil minded and have an evil nature, and that will do anything for the bag just to make some money because they just think this is a joke. You know, jakes like this that are sent by the powers that be. Then you got jakes out there that are ignorant, not knowing the truth. Then you got jakes, and then collectively they're all working on the left hand side, whether they know it, whether they do it knowingly or unknowingly. You know, a lot of them are paid off. You know, they just think that they can make outlandish comments about having pride in who you are and who you are. So, but you individuals don't go against Jesus Christ or Latter Day Saints when they talk about having brown skin. Was it evil? You know, they're calling everything in the scriptures that's good evil, and all that's good. Sorry, all that's good. They're calling everything that's in the scriptures good. They're calling everything that's in the scriptures that is good evil. Then they're calling everything that's evil in the scriptures good. That's what the Latter Day Saints do. The Jesus Christ Mormons. Are they Mormons? Yeah. You don't go against them. You don't go against the KKK when they spew their racist garbage. But as soon as Jake starts saying that they're Israelite, and the people in the Bible look like us, or are brown people with woolly hair, that's an issue, which goes to show that there's a lot of these individuals, Satan is walking around, man, trying to devour, and he's using evil people out there. The Lord is sending evil spirits, presumed Isaiah 45 verse 7, to try people, and also, I guess if you want to look at it that way as well, it's also to try our prophets as well. And but each time the word of and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai always wins, because when you're doing things truthfully and you're doing it in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, nothing can beat that, man, because it's all Yahweh Hashem Shai, because you can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth. This guy, was provoking Elder. If you watch the video, the original one with the Elder and the other brother there were teaching, right? Elder Manatas Akbar said to this chubby guy in the white t-shirt, back off, man, back off, back off. He kept coming close, he kept coming close, kept inching closer and closer and closer, kept coming closer, and you can see by the hand gestures, back off, and there's a good what, Elder saying back off, the guy's got a long reach as well. We don't know what his intentions are, All right, let's go to see what definition of provoke is. Definition of provoke: stimulate or give rise to a reaction or emotion, typically a strong or unwelcome one in someone. Okay, that's what he was doing, going in circles, spewing that wacky-tacky Edomite Christian doctrine. Edomite meaning the so-called white man's doctrine. That garbage they gave you, right? You kept spewing that. And in 2025, if you still, talk all that John 3:16. John 3:16 is a beautiful scripture, but that's referring to the Israelites. It's not about the literal whole world. John 17:9 lets you know that the Lord did not pray for the whole world. He prayed for the world of Israel. Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai prayed for the world of Israel, the Israelites. Okay? But you wacky-tacky Christians, in 2025 still believe in the garbage that your grandparents believed in, your great-grandparents believed in. And there's something wrong with you, This guy, man, is seriously just trying to provoke. And it's definitely an agent sent, Listen, everything's of Yahweh Hashem Shai, okay? The Lord controls the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Whether he came, as a demon, there's a demonic spirit on him, or he was sent by the powers that be. Either way, it's a demonic spirit. And you can see it in his eyes, the way he's boldly looking at the elders, trying to be humble and calm, saying, listen, back off, But this guy kept, going in circles, and just being belligerent and rude, You gotta be careful out here, man. And the elder was trying, man. Romans 12, the elder tried and succeeded, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Romans 12:18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Okay, and the elder was trying to, you're supposed to be peaceable. You can't go around hitting the heathen, Edomites, the other nations. All right, that's called losing losing your temper. Being being emotional, because now's not a time. The Lord hasn't given the green light to do anything like that. All right, it's not a time of self-preservation at the moment. Right now, still, even though things are dwindling and dying down, His kingdom is falling. But while things haven't gone to the point where you got to walk around with a while things are so-called calm at the moment, you live peaceably with all men. You function normally. Someone says hello, good morning to you, say good morning back, whatever. Depending on who it is, of course. You're not going to say it to a fruitcake, innit? But you know what I mean. Just they say morning to you, say morning back. You keep yourself to yourself. You don't stare at people too long in the eyes, because some people are crazy. You just look, you be circumspect, keep your head on the swivel, keep moving. Never, be fixated too long at one place, just keep it moving. You get along with your co-workers, even if they're heathens or whatever. You keep yourself to yourself. You don't talk too much, like in the book of Proverbs. You keep as I say, keep your cards close to your chest. You don't say too much. You keep your thoughts in your, sometimes you want to yell out. You keep it to yourself. That's discipline in itself, controlling your tongue. All right, and just get along with everyone. All right. Let's go to Matthew 10:16. I deleted it accidentally. Matthew 10:16, King James Version. Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Right? Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The Lord is saying, sending you out there, as sheep in the midst of wolves. And the sheep is a succulent, juicy looking animal to a wolf. A wolf wants to devour and bite that juicy sheep, that lamb. Yeah? But you've got to be wise as a serpent. Isn't a serpent a cunning, a cunning thing? Isn't the serpent very cunning? Even when they show it in cartoons and when they show it in, always, there's statements and sayings and, certain, it was a term, colloquial sayings or whatever, and also biblical ones as well. Which everything comes from the Bible anyway. Letting you know how wise a serpent is. You know, and even the term forked tongue, right? Which means that a serpent can say whatever the serpent needs to say or do to get out of a situation. So even in this case, you've got to be wise as a serpent. All right, you're there for a particular goal. You're there for a particular, particular assignment. And our assignment for our elders was in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemeshai was to teach the word to the hopeful elect that are watching online, as well as the hopeful elect that will watch around the world once it's recorded, whether they're watching it live or recorded. A lot of us, I'm seeing in England watching the elder. So that goes to show that the word is spreading. All right. And the elder succeeded in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemeshai, Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And you have to be wise, man. These people keep, coming closer and coming closer. Don't understand that, everybody's got to be wary, whether you're cool with that person or not. All right. You have to have a sensible distance amongst people. People just keep trying to push up on you, And this guy was really, as they say in the UK, taking the piss. All right. Let's go to the verse of the day, which is sort of verse of the day, May the 12th. For we are in the Most High's handiwork, created in Hamashiach Yahushai, to do good works the Most High prepared in advance for us to do. Let's go to the King James Version. For we are his workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushai unto good works, which the Most High hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Okay? And that was a verse of the day. And then I saw, the elder, the brother from the prophet from Saints of Jersey make a video on the elder, and it connected with that. And I thought, okay, the elder's doing good works, man. The spirit power of Yahweh Hashem Hashai. You know, I mean, the elders out there doing good works because the elders out there doing good works and doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Hashai. Yahweh Hashem Hashai, uh, looked out for the elder, you know, and the elder was trying as much as possible to walk in the way, a wise saint or a wise prophet would. In the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Hashai, even that we are in this weak flesh, and sometimes we can go off. The elder succeeded, like he does. He's done many times before when agents have come to provoke him when he's teaching with a brother or when he's teaching on his own. And you wacky tacky Christians are not going to win, man. You can send your agents again and again and again and again. You're not going to win because you're not coming against a human being. You're coming against Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, which goes to show you don't see these agent provocateurs in NOI or the Muslim type sort of situations. All right. It's coming up against, or even in other types of groups. They're not a danger. They get thousands and millions of views, and nobody is bothered with the Muslims or the Buddhists or the Afrocentric type jakes. They're only bothered and bewildered and upset by this, the truth of the Israelites, because they know Esau, the so-called white man, has a short time left, so they're trying to find every jake that's unemployed, every jake out there that's probably living in the projects or some kind of rundown neighborhood, or jakes out there that's not really doing much with themselves. Probably got a YouTube channel that's not successful. Probably been unemployed for 6 months because the factory in his town closed or whatever. So they're trying to find every Jake out there. Okay, yeah, you do this for us. We'll give you upfront, I don't know, 50K or something, and then you do this for us 3-4 times. I don't know. I'm just coming up with numbers. All right. So they're gonna keep sending individuals out this, man. But they're not gonna succeed because at the end of the day, you are not coming against a human being, man. Okay? And plus, these men here are not regular men. Okay, from our apostles on down. They're not regular men. Okay? You're coming against the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bahashem Yahshai. And individuals like him and his owners, those Edomites, those crackers, are not going to succeed, man. All right? Because you can't do nothing against the truth before the truth, man. I'm going to leave it there now, So you wacky tacky Christians are finished, man. Okay? And you're corny. All right? And all of you look like, this guy looks like a rainbow person as well. An eyebrow ring and a dirty hair all wrapped up around his head. He needs to cut that shit. But anyway, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakadash. You individuals, need to stay away from the men of the Lord, man. Because the Lord don't play about, play around. You try and mess around with his men, and his men are trying to do the work and trying to feed the sheep. That are scattered around the four corners of the earth, because we watch our teachers every week, man. Anyway, all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahshai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, Mawatha, Ba'Ba'al, Kwam, Yashra, Shalom.